Good evening, this is your Psychic LG reporting from the United Kingdom. I want you to all sit back and relax and let's look into the looking glass for the next month ahead. I hope you are all well in these crazy times, and let's start. Just waiting for it to fog over there. It's been in the garden all day. Okay, well, as you know, I did predict to do with Liz Truss being the next Prime Minister. I just felt that it was a feminine energy what was going to rise in the UK. But I do see tensions definitely building up in Parliament. The question is, will Truss sort this mess out? Okay, because she's promised to cut tax cuts, give tax cuts, should I say, to Amazon and other large companies. My worries is, I just believe that we could be in for a hard winter. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But I do believe that she's got a lot to fix here. And it's a case of, it's how do you fix that pan of broth when it's gone on the turn? Because what I do see, I'm just seeing it here now, that there is going to be possibly power cuts. I've been seeing this for a while in the UK. We could have these in Europe and parts of the United States as well. I'm also feeling that there could be a rise in inflation, and I see strikes in the UK as well, and possibly protests. I've seen this for a while where it's cold, it's raining, it's wet, and there's marching in the UK. And I'm not sure if that's got something to do with teachers or the NHS, so possibly, and possibly something to do with truck drivers, so possibly watch for that. But I do worry for this winter. And I'm also feeling that, I feel that our country's been on a real hill spiral since we've had the lockdowns. But I just feel very strongly that there's something to do with this Brexit thing, that there's going to be scandals to come out, so you need to watch for that. So she's got a mess to sort out here. But I did see a woman would rise, and watch for Liz Truss and her party possibly will make big decisions into January, February. I'm feeling this very strong because I see announcements to the British public. And I'm also getting November, December as well. And by March of next year, I see massive change. Massive change. And I'm seeing a blue and white sign and a red and white sign. So could this be Conservative, Labour, something being forced, or there's something else coming into play there? But as the cost of living rises for US, Brits and all over the globe, let's see if she will win the British people, the British public around. Not Parliament. There'll always be that conflict in Parliament. But I sort of see her, and it's like she's trying to climb up this slippery, icy mountain. But I feel she's got like spikes in the bottoms of her boots. And I have a funny feeling that I feel like she could do this. She's strong. I do feel that. But basically, in a nutshell, it doesn't matter if bugs, bunnies in the Parliament. It's all a show anyway. Okay? Because there's a lot of mess here. And the country's in a lot of debt. I feel that. But what I do feel is it's going to be up and down a lot. But 2025, we could go Labour Britain. Nevertheless, I'm sort of backing Liz at the minute, because as I look into this crystal ball, I'm looking at her aura, and I've got this purple glow around her aura. I'm not seeing darkness at the moment. I'm looking at her as a collective, and I'm not seeing her as a political side. But this, I just feel Liz is a stepping stone. But she could be a force to be reckoned with. But that could all change. Ask me a year down the line. Okay. Now, I've been going on a while now about time insertions. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel over the last couple of weeks there's been something very strange going on with time. Time glitches. Have any of you guys been getting it? So I feel it's as if that something's off. I've been feeling this for a while. And what I'm actually feeling is that there's all this hype going on in the USA and everything's all hyping up. And my guides keep saying distractions. But I'm concerned about some form of an event, something which could sort of distract her. I'm seeing something in the US, and I do see the word terrorism. Now, I don't want you to worry about this. I'm not saying this to scaremongers or anything at all like that. This is something that I see what's going to be across papers, across world news. Watch for this. But I don't know if it's terrorism is an outside country coming in or it's inside country. Okay? But there's going to be problems. So brace yourself. What I'm also seeing is that there's going to be a rise and a push on the climate crisis. And I'm seeing this being pushed around the globe. It's going to come up on all the media outlets and everything. And but what I do feel is that there's a new form of energy source, or it's to do with a company or something, or maybe it's two companies they're going to be talked about. These are new companies. And they're going to be introduced. And I see this within the next 2 years. And it's something about free energy. And I believe that the UK and Australia will take the lead on this. And then many other countries will follow. Just look at it like at the minute, like it's a big jigsaw puzzle that we're putting together. And the bits are all separated. Okay? But I've said this for a while now, that things are going to be a bit messy before they sort themselves out. Because can you remember when all of them gathered, I believe it was in Scotland, and I believe that there was discussions of this new earth. Remember, politics is all a show, and I believe that there's something a lot bigger going on behind the scenes. And I believe it's the good guys fighting against the bad guys. But I do believe that the good guys have got a hold of this. It's just everything what's playing out at the minute is fighting out in 3D. But just remember about free energy coming in here. And it's coming in really, really strong. Now, a little while ago, I don't know if it's been over the last couple of months, I've mentioned, if it's not been on here, on my Looking Glass videos, it's been on Twitch. But I've mentioned, I'm sure it's been on here as well, I've mentioned about when the Queen is going to be up in Sandringham. And you're going to see, you're going to hear this, it's going to be all across world news. And I hear bagpipes being played. And I'm getting grief, I'm getting the word grief, the word grief, okay? And I'm seeing, I'm getting mourning, okay? Now, I'm not always told when somebody is going to pass over, because my guides don't work like that. Remember, I'm a healer. But what I am getting is that recently, as you know, on the news that our doctors have ordered her to take it easy. So I'm going to look into this crystal ball and I'm going to see what's going on around the Queen. Okay, Queen Elizabeth. Right, what I'm getting very strongly is that I'm getting extreme tiredness. I mean, that's obvious. She's in her 90s, late 90s. And I'm seeing weakness. And I'm feeling there's problems with blood pressure, that type of thing. So I'm feeling there's possibility going to be talks of worry or concern to do with around her health. And I'm getting the 15th, the 16th, the 9th, the 10th, the 24th, the 25th, the 29th, and the 1st is coming out as well. 10th or the 9th could be September, October, or it could be a date. But you know, when I'm looking into something, sometimes I can't read a year out, but I'm seeing this vision very clear tonight. So I'm not going to go any further into it, because I know there's a lot of people out there who say this is not true and she's already gone. But what I'm going to say to you is that them rumours aren't true. She's still alive, okay? And what I'm feeling very strongly is I can see this being announced on world news. All right, she's still here, but something is going to be announced about her health. So watch for this coming into play. And when this is going to be announced, there's going to also be, around about the same time, there's going to be big news in the USA. And it could be to do with politics, everything to do with what's going on around Trump and stuff like that, okay? Okay, what else am I seeing? I'm seeing the Middle East, okay? And what I'm feeling very strongly is I see smoke. Now, I don't mean in a literal way, but as I look at that, actually, I do see smoke sort of going over, and I see a little bit worry and concern to come in before I would say midsummer of next year to do with Israel and Iran again. But I'm actually getting Saudi Arabia over that way. And I'm seeing scandals to come out, guys. Now, they are giving us documents. I don't know if it's to do with this documents which is happening at the minute, to do with what's been taken from Mar-a-Lago, or it's another type of document. But what I'm being shown here in this crystal ball is, I'm saying, selling the people out. Now, I'm sure I've said this before. Again, you'd have to look back through my other looking glasses. So maybe check it out, unless it's been on one of my Twitch podcasts. But you need to watch for this, guys. And I'm going to give you some initials here. I'm saying it really, really strong. I'm getting the letter J. I'm getting the letter K, N, S, S, C, D, J, and A. Okay? And M. I don't know if I give you the letter M. So these could be people, places, company names. All right, remember, I look into this crystal ball, I scry, and I see these images. So it's up to you to try to work it out. We've got to get my detective hats on, okay? Or heads on, should I say. Huge news to come out there. And I see a country that will be exposed, right, to do with these highly secret documents. And it's going to be explosive, guys. You're going to need your popcorn. But I see a vulnerability with this, and it's pretty awful. I'm saying definitely that the country's name will be exposed. It's going to be leaked out at some point. And I see a man coming into play, quite slim, on news, maybe he's connected around this. And there's going to be blame chucked backwards and forwards. So it's going to get a lot of mudslinging. I've said this a year ago, this would all happen. Don't know why I'm getting Nevada or Nevada desert. Don't know why I'm getting that, but just watch for that area. But I did say in my last world predictions that there would be something connected to do with nuclear and scandals to come out to do with these secret documents. I'm sure I said that in my last world predictions. I also did say that I wasn't sure if it was India, but that could still be to come into play in Pakistan, that there would be landslides. And as you know, there's been mass floods over there, and I send healing and protection out to the Pakistan people because I worry that there could be more to come. And I'm also seeing something about a germ or something like that, so watch for that to come into play. Okay, what else am I saying? I'm getting Japan. And as you know, that there's worry at the moment, there's a typhoon heading towards Japan. I'm feeling that there could be more earthquakes to come. I am getting it's going to be quite stormy as we're coming into hurricane season, definitely into the parts of the United States of America. And I do see, I've said this before, there's two big ones to come in. But I'm still in Japan at the moment here. But I feel like I need to go to the East Coast also. I want to go to the East Coast area and the South, and it's to do with the United States of America. Explosion, actually. This is crazy what I'm getting tonight. I'm getting explosion, something to do with oil or a big gas company. an explosion, chemicals. So I send healing and blessings out there. It looks quite southern where I'm looking. But I'm also feeling that there could be more problems to do with Ukraine as well, so watch for that. But yeah, going back into Japan here, I'm feeling that there's going to be something about water, right? And I've said this before because I'm also seeing China, something about lots of water. So it could have something to do with this typhoon, what's heading. But I also feel there's something about an island that will have to be vacated. That will have to be vacated. So remember that. Okay, what else am I saying? Right, I'm getting economy, and what I'm feeling very strongly is that I keep getting inflation, worry. What am I getting with crypto? Okay, I'm not an expert on crypto, but what I'm saying is there's two signs I'm seeing which I feel could rise. I do get a strange feeling with XRP, so keep into that if you're into that. I would say just leave it where it is, yeah? I see silver and gold is always good to sort of invest in, but I don't see a massive rise yet with that. I just see it slowly creeping up. There could be two dips. There's something to happen within the economy, and it's as if it's dropping and then it's suddenly bouncing back up again. Somebody had said, because I felt there was a name connected with it, and somebody had said it's called a dead cat bounce or something. You'll have to comment on the link below if you know anything more about that. But I see two jumps in the economy, to do with the economy in the market, and I'm getting something about the 12th. Right, between the 9th and the 12th, there's a dip down and a dip back up again. The 16th, there's two little dips, and then it jumps back up again. There seems to be a big dip up, and then a dip down, and I'm getting something about the 28th to 29th of September. See, timelines are coming in. There's different timelines here, and I believe that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a fight for the economy, the good guys, the bad guys. But what I feel is that any drops what happen, they suddenly will come back up again. If we do have a worry, it won't be for long. Okay? But where it comes to the rise in petrol, gas prices, not petrol, gas, and then I'm also getting food, there is going to be a bit of a worry there. There really, really is. So it's going to take time to clear up. But I'm seeing a sign, and it looks blue, and it looks like it's got a triangle in with a circle round. Or is it a triangle? There's two different ones. One of them looks like it's a C or a swerve, like a curve. And I see a red sign as well. And I get a big news to come out with the one with a yellow sign. These are to do with cryptocurrencies, okay? So maybe comment on the link below if you know what I'm talking about here. But there's definitely going to be a boom with the one with blue with a triangle. I want you to remember that. And a red sign as well. So remember that. So it's very up and down. But I would say, yeah, if you want to invest in gold and silver, I see it sort of creeping up. But I don't feel it's going to really rise yet. Not quickly. Okay? But it's definitely something to invest in. I don't know why I'm getting platinum. Interesting. But I've always said this, you know, where whatever happens in the UK, Japan follows. So I do believe that Japan is going to have the same problems, you know, to do with rises in food and problems there. But nevertheless, I want to say prep Japan, because there could be, again, problems. And I'm not saying that you're going to get power cuts. You could. It's always best to be on the safe side. But I just feel that we could, I'm not saying it's a definite, but if things get a little bit messy, there could be rations in certain shops. So I want to say prep. Don't panic, buy, prep. And this is for the USA, this is for Europe, this is for the UK. I want to say literally everywhere. But for Japan, I want to say yous are fighters. Yous will rise. Okay? But I'm concerned and I'm worried. And there's something to do with the typhoon. But I'm also feeling, I don't know why I'm getting into the end of the week, the beginning of next. But I'm also feeling 5, 15, 22 or 25 could also be connected with dates to do with weather warnings in number 12. But 12 and 10 as well could also be to do with like the 10th month October, the 12th month December. So be careful. But I send you healing and blessings out there. Remember, we're all healing old wounds. And we're not just healing from our lives, we're also healing from our past lives, but also our ancestors. I've been saying this for a while. It's like we're stuck in Atlantis. And there's something going on with time, guys. And I'm not saying we're going to be, there's been rumours out there how we're going to be all sucked off Earth and end up somewhere else. And it's not going to be like that. That's looking at it very physical. I believe that when they talk about the rapture, I believe it's a case of ascension. It's spiritually ascending. So we are spirit beings in a meat suit. So once we start to spiritually ascend, we realise that the universe is within us, our minds. And once we start to realise we can reach anywhere, magic starts happening. But as we start to ascend and come into the 5th dimension, it does do something to you where you can start a time shift. But it means that you can still live in the 5th dimension, live the life on Earth, but also explore out there in the universe. That's what I believe it is. And I'm talking about experience, what I've been through, which I'll do videos on. Okay, so try not to worry, guys. Nobody's going to be sucked off Earth or anything like that. I believe, and I've talked about this on my friend's channel, Heart of Inspiration. I talked about this because we touched upon the rapture, and I said that this 5th dimension in exploring and going into other realities, once we start to see and connect with the extraterrestrials, and that is the rapture, because then you realise that you are a spirit being and you can access anywhere out there in the Milky Way. But you see, they don't want you to know that. And when I say they, I'm talking about dark entities which are on this planet, which are playing out and they are sort of integrating in around humanity. Nobody's immune to this. So it's very important that we keep discernment. But going on my experience, I don't believe there's going to be a rapture where we're going to be pulled off Earth. Some of you might believe that, but that's fine. But I feel that once we start to ascend, that's when we can start a time jump. But we will still be here. We will still be here because we are physical beings. Until that physical suit stops working, then we will go on to the afterlife and then beyond. Okay? But I believe people like Grand Masters, what lived on this planet, how Moses went missing in the mountains, and Jesus, and all these different Grand Masters, they talked about, my father's house has many mansions. My father's house has many universes. We can explore. It lies within us. But I'll talk about that in another video. So what I want to say to the people of Japan is, 77 years ago it was, wasn't it? I think I believe just over the last month, haven't you? You've had your memorial of it. It's Hiroshima. And you're healing from your ancestors. But you have to let this go. And this is why everything's kicking off in the USA. It's all the old pain. Everything to do with what, everything's what's happened to do with the Native American Indians and the slave trades, all the horrible things what's took place. So the collective, we are holding on to that, we're letting it go, right? And it's healing the lands. And it's the same with Japan. I've always said Japan is very protected. But there's going to be so many earth angels, starseeds, great truth seekers, great light workers, which are going to come forth from Japan. And new forms of healing. But remember, these aren't new forms of healing. These are old ancient practices. But we are bringing them back from the future. We are the boots on the ground. The reason I'm concentrating on Japan here is because there could be some worry. But what you need to understand is, guys, you are well protected. It's on a protective ley line on earth. My guides have showed me this many times. But where I see an Asian woman and a speech will be out there on world screens, and she will speak, and she will be going on about stopping war or something about war. When she stands on world screens, her words will haunt the world. And then Japan will rise. Watch for a young politician, a young male, quite slim, will take the lead in Japan. Remember that. But there's floods to come, great winds to come. And this is Gaia. She's a conscious being. And she's healing. This is why everything's purging at the minute. Okay, Australia. I do feel Australia will rise. I've never been worried. And I've got many Australian clients and they've been worried about everything what's been happening with mandates and over the last few years, But where I see inflation will rise, I believe that Prime Minister Albanese, he's got a plan. It's not easy, but he's sort of got them sort of stick boots on like Liz Truss, he's got them boots on with the spikes in. They've got a mess to sort out. In 10 years from now, not even 10 years from now, the people who have sorted this mess out will sort of be, I want to say, is the word honoured or talked about? Because what's about to take place is the great crossover. We are experiencing now, we're coming into the aftermath of everything that's been happening over the last 2 years. And it took a hammer on the economy and everything. But the economy, don't forget, the bad guys wanted they wanted this to fall as well, so they could take control. But the good guys are going to win this. Okay, the good guys are going to win this. And we are going to climb into new earth. It's a mess. So everything within the system, you're talking the banking system, the hospitals, they've all took a pressure. So the economy is changing. But I don't believe that the whole banking system will fall, but it will change. But I feel that this worry for Australians' summer, which is the majority of the rest of the globe, it's their winter. I believe that there's going to be worry with dreadful sort of fires, bush fires and that. So where the UK and parts of Europe and the US will face dreadful, the UK and Sweden and places like that, Norway, we're going to face dreadful freezing conditions. It's going to be, we're going to be wanting to pump the fire up And the Australia is going to be wanting to put the fire out. But I'm actually saying it's sort of very biblical times we're living in, guys. It's like fires, floods, storms. And it's talked about in all the great holy books, all these hidden signs. But New Earth to me is, it's a lot of things being exposed, but we are creating New Earth. We are going to go very futuristic. But I do believe that there will be blackouts, lots of blackouts. So prep, guys, get your torches, your candles. I'm even seeing where there could be in parts of the world where it's extremely hot and worrying conditions for the future, like places like Kuwait, where they could have ice storms. This is Gaia purging, guys. This is huge. Absolutely huge. Okay. What else am I saying? So, I just believe that we just need to keep calm and not feed into this, and remember that you can't change everything what's happening to do with politics. We can only watch it play out. Okay? But I want to say, try not to get too caught up in it. Now, before I get more into this, I want to say that I want to send peace and healing to everybody who's been affected in Canada. To the victims and the families to do with the mass murder what took place, the stabbings and that, dreadful. And when I try to zone in with Canada, I do fear for like worries there to do with the economy as well and everything. But I don't see Trudeau leaving yet, guys. People have asked us, look into Trudeau, what's going on. But there'll be a woman to rise in Canada. I really do believe that. But I want to say prep, guys, because, yous could get some heavy winters as well. I know you've got a lot of snow over there. But what I do see into the future is that Canadian flag is going to change. Don't ask me why or what. I just see the Canadian flag is going to change. I am also getting problems with Poland. And I want to send healing out there. Something about the borders with Russia. It's going to be big news to do with around Putin. Watch for that. Okay, I'm going to go back into the United States of America here. Okay, I am concerned also about many states will face, flash flooding to come still. And I'm getting the initials GLMPH. Now, I don't know if these are to do with states, or it could be when there is flash flooding, there's going to be big news with them initials with people or places. But I want to say the 28th and the 29th is going to bring in huge news. I'm also very drawn to Friday, guys. Watch for explosive news coming out. If not by the end of the week, definitely into the beginning of next, no later than midweek next week. I keep seeing files. Watch for the signs, guys. Portraits on a stamp. Watch for Michelle coming into play, Michelle Obama. There's more to come. And I do believe, that if she runs for 2024, for the next election, I do believe that the Republicans could face problems. But it all depends, doesn't it? I also see DeSantis comes more into play. So watch for storms, guys. I've been saying this for a while. The Republican Party is going to change. You need to watch for it all to play out. Watch for storms, guys. Watch for signs. I see that everything is about to all fall into place and many different things are going to all start to play out. But what I want to say is history is going to repeat itself. Guys, this is huge. What I want to say is, who is the woman I've been seeing all this time? The woman with the blonde hair and the fair face. Because if Michelle Obama runs for next 2024 election, who's standing next to her? Or is it the fair-haired woman I'm seeing on the Republican side? Watch for this to play out. All I do know is that we are about to witness the biggest court case that is going to go down in history. And one more thing, guys, what I need to say to you is, remember yachts. And remember, yachts hold the key. And I want to say that documents that they are arguing about, that they are what's going on at the minute to do with Mar-a-Lago, another country will be named. And many names will come into play. There's a big twist with all of this, guys. Just remember, history is going to repeat itself. Stay safe, stay blessed, wherever you all are around the world. This is your Psychic LJ, signing out. Goodbye now.